What up with you? Wait for some people to hop in there. Hope y'all Sunday's going good. Is that Kobe? Is that you? Kobe, is that you, Kobe? Oh, okay. Molly, Kobe. I'm gonna wait for some people to hop in there. We've been watching boxing long enough to where as though we know the play, we already know keywords. Once certain things get said, we know what they really mean. They taking long as shit to send out these notifications. Damn. I'm like, since I'm fucking driving back, I got a 40-minute ride. I might as well come fuck with y'all. I want to get some more people on here because I don't want to reiterate the same points over and over again. That shit gets kind of redundant. All right, so we got 16 in here. We might as well just start. Fuck it, right? I like Vergil Ortiz. Robert Garcia is a great trainer. Vergil Ortiz is a really good fighter. Rick Meridian, I know he's a good manager. Oscar De La Hoya is one of the biggest draws of all time. And Hall of Fame, great fighter, elite on every level he's ever been in. So I appreciate all of them professionally and what they bring to the table. But y'all see where this is going. And it's exactly why, as boxing fans, we can't always react to what shit looks like in the media. We have to literally go through shit with a fine-tooth comb and really really like do our due diligence and dig and see like what's true. So the narrative was that Jaron Ennis was ducking Vergil Ortiz. The narrative is that Boots wanted 2 tune-ups, and then that he was ducking Vergil Ortiz, and that he didn't want to test himself, he didn't want to challenge himself, etc. Okay. Now, if that logic were to be true, then Bakr Mortazayev is fighting a tune-up. Then Bakr Mortazayev is fighting a tune-up in Josh Kelly because Josh Kelly was offered to fight. You consider Sergey Boyachuk a tune-up because he was offered to fight. You consider Andres Carterakis 16-0 a tune-up because he was offered to fight. Jesus Ramos a tune-up. So if you believe that Boots asked for tune-ups and you know these guys were offered to fight, then you believe they're tune-ups. Because if you don't believe they're tune-ups, then you know the whole tune-up notion is a crock of shit. And so quiet fighters have the tendency to take stuff really to heart. And when you constantly call somebody a duck, especially somebody that's been devoid of opportunities throughout their career, and now they're being chastised in the media and by fans, you create an interesting dichotomy. You create somebody that was already upset because of the lack of opportunities, and now you put a really, really big chip on their shoulder. And so you got a guy that was more so focused on belts and becoming undisputed and accomplishing legacy, have a point to prove. And now that point to prove has a target sign, and in the middle of that target is Vergil Ortiz. To y'all, it was completely out of character how Boots was acting. And I heard people said that, oh man, like, yo, you could tell it was that nervous energy. Boots don't even act like that. Well, you have to look at it from this perspective. Have you been seeing the real Boots in interviews, or have you been seeing his corporate representative? What's the real Boots like? In the ring, he's a vicious animal that likes to showboat while beating your ass. Outside of the ring, more so soft-spoken and speaks in a sense of like catchphrases, very, very repetitive. So I say all of that to say, now you got a dude that doesn't come to fights fly into your fight. You got a dude that doesn't hop in the ring and put pressure on people like that, hop in the ring and put pressure. Boots' plan was always to jump in that ring. Oscar De La Hoya and Vergil's team did not want him to come down there, as we saw them say all week long. Now, Vergil Ortiz is the fighter. He may feel different, like, you ain't gonna press me in my hometown. But at every end, they have spoken as a team about how Vergil has options, about how Vergil's the A side, and how the fight doesn't make sense next, and this should happen and that should happen and all that. But nothing says that we want this fight next. This is the fight that we are going to make next. One person is saying, I want you. You are going to pay for everything that they said. We can bet whatever you want to bet. I'm going to beat you. Another dude is talking about a mega fight with Errol Spence. Now, I'm a business first dude. And the business first in me says that the Errol Spence fights makes perfect sense for Vergil Ortiz, because he's going to make good money doing it. And as far as danger goes, it's about safe as a fight that you can take that is available at 154 pounds currently. Last time we seen Errol Spence, he got his ass whipped by a black samurai from Omaha, who's a GQ model now. Nigga beat Spence's ass so bad, he changed careers. Like, we got to keep this shit a bean, bro. He beat Spence's ass so bad, he said, I need to do other things with my life. Can people in the comments tell me I'm lying, yo? Now, logically speaking, it makes sense, because Spence is very, very vulnerable. Last time you saw him, he was beaten up, he was bludgeoned. He'd been out of the ring for months. He's still a big name. There's really not that much danger in the fight. Now, could Errol Spence, if Errol Spence is still Spence, could he beat him? Yes, he could. But it's the least dangerous risk for the most money, for that level of risk. But even with that, you lose everything that you gained in the Jaron Ennis narrative. Because the narrative was that Boots didn't want to smoke. The narrative was that Vergil had him shook. The narrative was that he didn't want to fight in top opposition. So he came to your hometown and he pressed you in front of your people. You lose all the bit of momentum when it comes to Boots. Because the reality is, Spence is a good name, but you're not going to get credit for Spence. You're not going to get credit for Spence just because everybody looks at Spence as semi-retired. Everybody looks at Spence as damaged goods. Everybody looks at Spence as, I'm going to say this respectfully, well past his prime. Did Bud give him a VIP pass to that place? Yes, he did. So now the same people that were saying that Jaron Ennis ducked you is now going to be the same people that said you ducked Jaron Ennis and that you've been ducking Jaron Ennis for years. Now, if you can deal with the criticism and if it doesn't bother you, cool, go ahead and fight Errol Spence. But once you start saying things like, oh man, yeah, Vergil's the man and Vergil's the A side and everything has to be on Vergil's terms and Boots needs Vergil, Vergil doesn't need Boots. Once you start talking like that, you start to lose credibility because you've never been a world champion and you aren't a ticket seller. And so once you start spewing that kind of rhetoric, then now it lets everybody know that you're looking for a way out of the fight. And the fight wasn't ready yet. But Turki Al-Ashiki pushed this fight, and Vergil's team did 100 interviews talking about how Boots turned him down for February 22nd. And now you created a demand for a fight that shouldn't have had the demand yet until both of them became champions in the weight classes they were currently at. But Boots is out for blood. He wants Vergil. And Vergil is talking about, you know, I want this guy, I want that guy, I possibly want Boots. And so now here we are. Yes, Ortiz did turn down. They couldn't come to terms because Zayas wanted him to come to Puerto Rico because he's the champ. And Vergil wanted to be a 50-50 situation. Problem is, you're overweight, you're overvaluing where you are currently in the division. You and Conor Ben are the guys that haven't touched the world title yet, out of y'all little core group. Vergil, no world title shots, no world title wins. Boots is a unified champion. Xander is looking to be a unified champion. And so, if Xander unifies in the division, do you know what the negotiations are going to be like? Oh, Xander going to give him his ass to kiss. But Zuma Nation, what's good? I'm driving, so I can't catch everybody commenting real time. I'm just giving you the landscape of what's going on. Hey, Darren, that's how you, if you know deep in your heart you have no A-side leverage and you are talking about how much you are the A side, you do not want to fight. You do not want to fight next. And I do not think that Boots is in their immediate plans for next. It's a dangerous fight, and I think they have less dangerous fights on their minds. But this completely absolves all the bullshit narratives that people have been saying about Boots over this last year. And if the fight doesn't happen next, Boots can go ahead and chase world titles like was his initial plan. And for me, I like to be as fair as possible. When I fight Errol Spence before Jaron Ennis, you goddamn right. But the shit talking, the back and forth of what you saw last night, I feel like that's 70% him. Normally he gives you about 20 to 30%. You know, he gives you, corporate answers. We're gonna look good, we're gonna be sharp. You know what I'm saying? You know how that goes. He give you the NBA post press conference answers. But that, you got about 70%. No, I said, dudes is going to give Vergil out because they don't like Boots. And what I ask is, you don't have to like Boots. But as a boxing fan, you got to be fair. You see what's going on, call out the bullshit. Darren, I see the play, Darren. I see the play. And you know what? I respect the fact that you're speaking out on the play. You don't gotta like Boots. You don't gotta like his personality. You don't gotta like him as a fighter. You don't have to. But tell the truth. Y'all see what the play is. The play is, we're gonna paint a picture like he's scared of us and build a name off of that. And we've seen that in the history of boxing. Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, Triple G and Canelo. We've seen it. Whoever is the more popular guy, paint a picture that he's ducking you, he's scared of you, and you will get new fans, and his detractors will immediately become fans of yours. It's the oldest play in the book. But that only lasts for so long because eventually you got to get in the ring. And when you get in the ring, styles make fights. If you watch that fight against Lubin, which was a very, very impressive performance. Very impressive performance. Vergil did exactly what he had to do. He looked strong. He looked sturdy. But if you watch that fight and thinks that he can beat Jaron Ennis, then I don't know what to tell you. This shit is gonna look like Staniotis 2.0. It might take 7 rounds, it might take 8 rounds because Vergil's a bit bigger man. But we've seen this movie before. Strong jab, high guard fighter, good speed, good power. Come forward. We've seen this movie before. We know how it plays out. Pressure fighter against Jaron Ennis. We've seen it before. We know how it plays out. An ass whooping. Yo, Band Up, what up, Foreign, my youngin'? My man Band Up, my man Sean. Spence is a bigger star. Hey, yo, y'all be weird as shit with y'all names. Mr. Bootlicker. Like, yo, do y'all girls know how corny you are? Like, do you get bitches, bro? I gotta ask, yo. Because, like, sometimes the corny shit that come out of your mouth, I know y'all don't get no hoes. Like, I know you don't get hoes. Like, I can't see you approaching a girl at a bar and you saying some cool shit. I just can't. Like, is that really what you came up with? Bootlicker? You fucking dweeb. These dudes don't have no bitches, yo. None. Literally, I literally said that Spence is a bigger star and Spence is less vulnerable. So it's the move that I would make. But the reality is, niggas is gonna call you a duck. Because for the next fight, you are avoiding Jaron Ennis. He showed up to your fight. He pressed you in front of your crowd. You saying, let's do it. If you go off and you do something else, you avoided it. Scary hours, what's up? Now, is it the right business move to make? Yeah. But he called you bluff. Two things can be true. It's the right business move, but it's a duck. Yeah, true. You can't say all that in the ring and then duck. You can't. And that's all I'm saying. It's the right business move. Yes, it is. It's the right business move. I am not a hypocrite. Y'all know I'm business first. Y'all know how I carry shit. I am not a hypocrite. I don't care about personal relationships. I'm going to tell the truth. It is the right business move. But also, he called your bluff in front of your fans, in front of Lil Mexico in Texas. He called your bluff. He told you that you are going to pay for everything that your promoter, your manager, your trainer said. You said, okay, so is it a yes? And he said yes. And if you go off and you do anything else besides that, it's a duck. Ford, you remember I said the fight isn't ready yet. It's not ready yet. But Turkey pressed the gas on it. The fans pressed the gas on it. Vergil and Vergil's team did 100 interviews pressing the gas on it. Okay, well, we here now. You want to fight or you don't? Marley, appreciate the $2 super chat, bro. The two aren't going to fight until 60. At this point, I don't know. Ford, I feel what you're saying, bro. I'm talking about a business standpoint. The fight isn't truly ready. Vergil Ortiz hasn't even won a world title. But it's going beyond that. He pressed you in your hometown. He pulled up, he trolled you in saying that, oh, you know, my flight was canceled. Everybody went crazy, reacting, talking shit, and he popped up on you. He hopped in your ring in front of your fans, and he told you that he gonna make you pay for what everybody was saying. does the him versus Spence and Boots versus Charlo, and then a meetup, does that sound good? As a boxing fan, yeah, that sounds good. But I don't want to wait till 2027 for Boots to be in a title fight, even though those are great fights. And the fight that makes more sense is Spence and Charlo. That fight makes sense. But I feel like, and mind you, I don't think Vergil's scared of Boots. I don't think fighters are scared of each other. But Boots called Vergil's team, he called their bluff. Stood in the middle of the street and said, well, no, not in the middle of the street. He came down to their block, he came down to their hood, stood in the middle of the street and said, what we doing? You got niggas yelling from the windows of their crib, but ain't nobody come outside yet. And do I think it's the right move for Vergil? If he can get a fight with Spence, yeah, you take that fight. Is it still a duck? Yeah, it's a duck. Is it logical? Yes, it's logical. So that's essentially where I'm at with it. I understand why. It's the move that I would make, but we still got to call it what it is. And Darren is right in the sense that this is why boxing is the way that it is. This is why boxing is viewed the way that it is. Because you got people all hyped for it, and now you throwing in fights with a dude that, let's keep it a bean, you know, that dude is on vacation, you know. Spence is on vacation. Spence is outside. Tell Vergil to hop in there, baby. Come on, Vic, tell Vergil to get in there. Tell him to do it. Yo, the Mexicans that I grew up with, they didn't care about no A side, no B side. They wanted to prove how macho they were. They wanted to prove how big their balls were. Pause. They say, yeah, man, this is real badass shit. Yeah, man, he's a real badass. So, let's have it. See, Vic, you clearly not listening to the live. I don't think that fighters are scared of other fighters. I think that Vergil's team wants to take a fight that has good money with the least amount of risk, and that's Errol Spence. I do feel like Boots called a bluff last night. So is it the logical move? Is it the move that they should make as a business? Yes, of course. Then get the Errol Spence fight, make it. But you still ducked. Two things can be true. Hollywood was good. It can be the right move at the correct time and it still be a duck. You just got to live with people talking shit. For me, I can live with people talking shit. I'm going to do what's in the best interest of me and my family, my career. But if we calling a spade, it is what it is. Like I said, bro, I keep shit a bean. I don't know if Vergil hits harder than Boots. I don't know if Boots hit harder than Vergil. I've never been hit by him. I know they can both punch. I've seen them both one-punch people. I've seen them stop dudes at 47. I've seen them stop dudes at 54. I don't know. You would have to ask somebody that got hit by both. I've seen Boots one-punch people more than I've seen Vergil one-punch people. In Dracio, we have to be honest. If we're examining everything, and while yesterday was a really, really good win and a great performance, here's the truth. Lubin had been stopped twice before then. He had been stopped in the first round, and he got beaten pillar to post. He one-punched Thomas Delorme, and he one-punched Castillo Clayton. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, bro. We got a lot of good interviews coming up. We got Vergil Ortiz, we got Robert Garcia, we got Regis Program. We already dropped Jaron Ennis reaction. Who else? We got Arnold Barbosa. We got a lot of good interviews for you coming up. Subscribe to the channel. Yeah, Darren, I feel you. Hit the subscribe button. See, I'm noticing my man Vic, he wants to judge fights on paper. Let's judge it in the ring. Let's see. You either want to see the fight or you don't. If you don't want to see the fight, I understand why. You don't want to see a guy get beat. Cool. I want to see the fight. Like, dudes be on there like, oh, he beat Maurice Hooker. He beat Igis Kavaliauskas. Those are good wins, but how are those wins any better than fucking Sergey Lipinets, Castillo Clayton, David Avanesian? Yeah, then you don't watch boxing. If you telling me you know Igis Kavaliauskas, but you don't know Sergey Lipinets, if you telling me you know Hooker, but don't know David Avanesian, you don't watch boxing. And so I'm gonna stop responding to your comments. You need to go watch some fights, brother. Okay, Lima Bean. Who the fuck is Frederick Lawson? Boots' first fight at 54 was Usman Lima. Who the fuck is Frederick Lawson? You said Lipinets is a little guy. Maurice Hooker's a 140 pounder. What do you mean? Please continue. Igis Kavaliauskas is 5'6". Please continue. Thomas Delorme fought at 135. You fought the nigga at 154. Please continue. He did. He was squeezing down to a weight class that he had no business squeezing down to. And I'm glad he's good. But that was a mistake. You know, it literally almost cost him. Weight matters. But the crazy thing is, Dracio, is that you'll acknowledge the fact that Vergil, during his weight cuts, got rhabdo and almost died. But then it say that Boots should have stayed at 147 pounds. Dracio, you lost the streets, brother. Dracio saying everything except he want to see that fight. Because deep in his heart, he knows what's going to happen. You're losing the streets, Dracio. As a matter of fact, man, you have to super chat me from here on out, man. You want to see Boots versus Charlo. Still a great fight. But it sounds like you bitching about Vergil, bro. And don't make me pull up the rest of your comments. You know I can see all y'all comments. Flexing. I feel like, I ain't even gonna say I feel like, I keep it a bean. I'm one of the only content creators keeping it a bean, but y'all don't like the truth. My detractors don't like the truth. You want biasness. I could easily get on here and tell you that he shouldn't fight Errol Spence. I could easily say that. Because it's not in my benefit that he fights Errol Spence. But no. Fighting Errol Spence is the most logical move business-wise. But the truth of the matter is, it's still a duck. It's what I would do. If it's available, I would go that route. Because Jaron Ennis is a much harder fight. And Vergil Ortiz will likely not beat Jaron Ennis. That's the odds. From my perspective, Boots is going to destroy Vergil. Because stylistically, it's all wrong. And the reason why it's all wrong is, can y'all name one time that you've watched Vergil Ortiz where he showed you something different? We're going to take this back to Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford. Vergil Ortiz is very, very similar to Errol Spence. And whether you think Boots and Crawford, have certain traits is irrelevant to this conversation. But I'm going to use their styles as a case study. Vergil Ortiz is going to come forward behind the jab. Errol Spence is going to come forward behind the jab. Vergil Ortiz is going to apply pressure, close distance, try to get you on the ropes, work your body, go body, head, body, head. Errol Spence is going to use his jab, close the distance, try to get you on the ropes, and go body, head, body, head. If you close your eyes, that's how every Vergil Ortiz fight looks. That's how every Errol Spence fight looks. The problem is, when you get in there with somebody who can do more than one thing, now when they take away your jab, now when they take away you getting them on the ropes, when they control the distance, what's next? What can you do? Once Bud took away Errol Spence's jab, fight was over. Once Boots takes away Vergil Ortiz's jab, the fight's over. What do they say? It's a one-trick pony, but it's a hell of a trick. It is a hell of a trick. It's very effective. But you got fighters that can take that trick away. A guy like Boots can fight on the outside. A guy like Boots can fight on the inside. A guy like Boots can fight mid-range. A guy like Boots can fight going forward. He can fight going backwards. He can fight on the ropes. He can fight off the ropes. He can do everything. That's why I think Vergil loses that fight. What's Vergil's plan B? Oh, no. Boots versus Vergil is going to end way before Spence and Crawford chassis. I use the examples of the styles. Errol's a come forward fighter that comes behind a jab off a high guard. Vergil Ortiz is the same way. So now you're going in there with a fighter that switches stances, fights inside, fights outside, fights going forward, fights going backwards. Fast, twitchy, explosive, and strong. And long. Pause. Terrence Crawford played with his food with Errol Spence. He played with his food. He poked holes and let him bleed out. My prediction is Boots probably stops Vergil 7, 8 rounds because he's tough. Yeah, Chassis. Bud played with his food in that fight. He could have been knocked Earl out. I don't know if he was trying to spare him or he was trying to punish him. You've seen Terrence Crawford go in for the kill before. You know what that looks like. Terrence Crawford is one of the best finishers in boxing, if not all time. You know when Terrence Crawford gets somebody hurt, he goes in and he gets them out of here. He had numerous opportunities to do that. He had numerous opportunities to do that shit. He didn't. Why? I don't know. Maybe he was having fun here. I don't know. I can't even say maybe he was having fun here because he was having fun. He was knocking ball down, going over to his homie, and saying, "You next." I can't say it. You can't say he always builds up to the kill because with Kell Brook, that was not the case. He got Kell Brook out of there like he had promised his girl that they was like gonna hit the movie zone. He like, damn, what time it is? Oh, damn, shit. The reservation to the steakhouse is at 11:30. All right, babe, I'm about to be out right now. But yo, I may hop on live a little later. I just wanted to give y'all my initial thoughts. This time I'll do like more so a panel where y'all can give y'all thoughts. Y'all give me y'all takes. Tell me what y'all feeling. You said why nobody want to fight Bakram? Josh Kelly's fighting Bakram. Josh Kelly's is mandatory, Dracio. And Eddie Hearn is promoting that fight to have options on whoever wins that fight so they can fight Boots. Dracio, you got to keep up, bro. Because like you be trying to hate, you be trying to throw shade, but it rings hollow because you don't know what you're talking about. But I love you anyway, though, bro. I do. You're still my man. Okay, if you got some stuff to say, Chassis, you're always welcome. You know you folks. We got my nigga Marquavion in the building. Oh, hey, EH, you already know. You already know that Oscar about to start his shit, boy. You already know it. And EH, me and you was talking about this shit the other day, but you already see Oscar. Ryan, Ravens Nation, what up? Ryan wants out, Canelo left. His cupboard is bare. Yeah, Chassis, you all know you gonna talk shit. Love you though. Shit, Brian Mendoza turned out a fight last time, so hopefully, you know, if that's the route that they go, hopefully he'll accept it this time. Hey, y'all, I gotta go. I gotta dip. Appreciate y'all subscribing to the channel. A lot of great interviews going. Salute to Vergil Ortiz for a great fucking performance. He did exactly what was required of him. He made a fucking statement. He beat a quality guy in a very quality division, and he deserves his flowers. I don't like how his team is moving, but that's mutually exclusive from the performance that he put on. While Lubin might be considered chinny, he's still dangerous. And Vergil gave him no space to be dangerous. So great fucking performance. Salute to him. Great win. We out here.